as a creative adult, it a lot of times can feel almost impossible to have the time to do this kind of stuff. And I always tell people who are struggling with that, you know, you really need to carve out that time. And if it means giving up something else, then so be it. You know, when I had my first two children, I went through, I say that like I'm gonna have more. When I had my kids, you know, when they're little, it's really hard to get stuff done or started or buy supplies. You know, it's really hard to stay on top of creative endeavors. And when my second was born, I really made sure to make it a goal to do it differently the second time around and to really carve out that time for myself, because it's a huge part of who I am, and it's a huge part of, you know, what keeps me happy and what keeps me, I don't know, satisfied with the mundane parts of life, I guess. So, you know, so what did I give up? My house is not as clean anymore. Not that it was ever super clean, but, you know, I definitely had to learn to let things go, so that I could, you know, take that extra hour and work on a project instead. And I also started sort of thinking about project time differently. You know, I really started to sort of think of the whole process as a creative process. So all the way from coming up with the idea, you know, right away I try to instill in myself some sense of importance. This is an important idea that I need to get down on paper. So, you know, even if like I'm in the kitchen, I'm making dinner, or, you know, I'm, you know, doing something else, I can very quickly sit down with a journal, sketch out some things, write some notes, and come back to it later. Maybe at bedtime, you know, when I'm ready to get in bed and read my book, I sit down first, you know, finish sketching it out, and move on in small pieces like that. So I think it's really important to find what works for you, because not getting out that creative energy, if you have it, can be painful sometimes. You know, and I hear that a lot from creative people who work corporate jobs. Like, sometimes it's painful to be at work and to be doing these tasks that are just tasks, right? And it just, you know, it's painful. It's painful sometimes. So you really have to find a way to get that part of you out and to be able to express that. Otherwise, I think it shows up as, you know, depression and anxiety and dissatisfaction and all kinds of stuff. So I think it's really important. I think it's part of, at least for me, it's part of my mental health to be able to express myself creatively and to do these random projects, to be able to pick something up and do it. So anyway, I hope I've inspired you to pick up a new project or to finish one that you already had. You can do it, I promise you. We all can create a little niches of time to do this stuff, and the world needs to see your art. So keep making stuff, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week.